It's nice standing in front of people again instead of my Zoom screen. So let's take it away. There are lawyers in the audience, so I won't bother going through the forward-looking statements. So Denarius is a company that was formed in early 2021. We built this company around 3 projects that we've selected to take ourselves forward, and we've done it on the basis of a number of criteria. We looked at in-demand critical minerals, gold, silver, zinc, copper, lead, as being fundamental to what we're looking for in this project. We've also been looking for jurisdictions that we believe are favorable for us. We like historic mining districts, we like high-grade projects, and so the 3 that we're working on, the Romero Project in southern Spain, the Terrell Project in northern Spain, and the Zancudo Project in Colombia, all check the boxes for what we're looking for, and I'll take you through some more details on these projects as we go through this presentation. We've also got a seasoned team with experience. Our team has come over from Gran Colombia after the sale of Gran Colombia to Aris Gold last year, and dedicating our time full-time to this project to take it forward. And as we did in the Scovia operations of Gran Colombia, ESG is in our DNA. So we incorporate ESG principles in the projects that we build so we can earn that right to operate with the local communities. Our company is led by our founder, Chief Executive Officer, and Executive Chairman, Serafino Iacono, and as I said, we've got a skilled team that we've brought together with experience both in Colombia and Spain, and a board that helps us live and breathe our belief that you not only need to know how to operate in a country, but you need to know who you have to work with in order to make your operations move forward progressively, especially as you're going through the progression of permits in the country. This afternoon, we finally announced the closing of our rights offering that we had started back in January. We issued $8.3 million worth of units in our rights offering. We've doubled our share capital now to 41.5 million shares outstanding. We have an $18 million market cap, and we now have about $10 million in the treasury to take our projects forward this year. Aris Mining participated about $1.5 million in the rights offering, so they've maintained their position as a 25% shareholder. The big change here with the rights offering is that it was backstopped by a lot of management and directors in the company, putting their money behind the story they believe in, and we've gone from a collection of about 5% of the stock to 24% of the stock, as of today. So a big presence of insiders in this company and believing that it's got the merits to grow its market cap. So when we look at Romero, it's located in a world-class jurisdiction. The Iperian Belt, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute, is a really predominant area of Spain that we believe is the right place to be in. We've got access to infrastructure, ports, people, roads, water, power, everything we need to make this project successful. We have an office in Valverde, which is close to Seville, which is down in the bottom part of the country. So we've got good local presence. And as I said, we're located in the Iperian Belt. It goes from southern Spain through southern Portugal. You can see we're sitting here right in the middle of the belt. The belt's had operations in it for over 1,000 years, and over that time, over 2 billion tons of ore have been taken out of all the different polymetallics. There's home to over 80 known deposits in the site. It's the largest concentration of massive and semi-massive sulfides in the world. So we're in good company and we're in a good area for operations. One of the reasons that Romero checked a box for us is we talk about rich history. It's been subject to a significant amount of exploration in its past, the most significant for us being this period in the early 2000s when Cambridge Minerals did a lot of drilling and formed pretty much the geological model that we've been using going forward. At that time, they'd identified a mineral resource of about 20 million tons in a historic resource published in 2011. So a lot of our work has been spent trying to drill and validate that historic resource in that geologic model. There's a former underground producing mine also on the site, goes down about 6 levels. There's been 2.6 million tons of ore taken out of that mine. So again, another reason that we feel we're in a good place with proven historical background to take us forward as we go ahead. And so here you can see an aerial view. This is the mineralized trend of the Iperian Pyrite Belt. Our Romero Piatos title, it's about a 500 hectare piece of property. The pink part in the middle is the location of the former producing mine, and we're right on trend. Over here to the east is the Matsa project, 147 million ton resource, bought by Sandfire last year for about $1.8 billion, about 6 kilometers away, and still processing with a plant with spare capacity that we may consider as one of our scenarios for processing material we take out of Romero in the future. Over here to the west, you've got the historic San Telmo mine owned by Tarsus, another project that sits on trend. And recent news for us, this Romero permit, we've just got an extension from the local junta, the mining authority, to have that permit extend for another 3 years. And about a week ago, they confirmed that the Palmarejo permit, which is another 150 hectares, has been awarded to us. It's on trend with our current mineralization, so it gives us a longer footprint along the trend for us to continue to explore as we move this project forward. Within the title, you can see the reddish area. The blue dots represent where the historical drilling had taken place, and the red dots where we've been drilling. Most of the drilling we've done to date, which has been about 50,000 meters starting in mid-2021, has been focused on validating the historic geologic model and resource. We've done a lot of validation drilling initially through twin holes to confirm that the data was accurate, and a lot more infill drilling now to expand and continue to build up this resource. Phase 1 finished in July, at which point we did a mineral resource estimate to kind of see where we were. And then we commenced in October Phase 2, which is wrapping up about now, and we should have results out shortly. And so when we look at this resource, this is the historic resource that was done by CMR back in 2011, 21 million tons of high grade. One of the characteristics of Romero is one of the highest grade gold projects in the belt. So gold is really important for us, especially the metallurgical testing, to figure out how we can recover the gold from the pyrite. This represents the 11 million ton resource that we put together after we got to July last year and took the temperature really of how far had we come along in validating the resource. It's about 11 million tons. The grades are, as you can see, a little lower than what was in the historic resource, but that's because we hadn't yet finished validating some of the higher grade holes at depth that are being targeted in our Phase 2 program. We expect to have Phase 2, as I said, out in another week or two. We'll have the drilling results out, and then we'll follow that up with a mineral resource estimate here before the end of the first quarter to give the next update on the project's resources. That will be the resource that we will then take forward to a PEA on this project in the first half of this year. You can see from the quote at the bottom, depending on what level of the resource you take, we've identified anywhere from $2 billion to $8 billion of metal in the ground, and this is for a company with a market cap of 18 million at the moment. And this year we're going to continue drilling the project. Over the next couple of months we're going to finish a 3,000 meter drill program to test some of the intercepts and infill drill at surface to finish off the material that we need to have for that PEA. And then we'll follow it up in the second half of the year with 7,000 meters of drilling. And what we're really going after now is for the first time drilling these extensions outside the former mining area that have never been drilled so that we can add tonnage into our project. And so we've done a lot of reconnaissance work to pick our targets within those areas. And as you look at them from the cross section looking north, this is the area that's previously been mined with a lot of holes. We're going to be going after these two sites, and we'll be putting in 1 or 2 deep holes to start to see what's at depth below the existing mine. So Romero's key targets for this year, obviously get the resource done and then continue the drilling so that we can get this project to a PFS as we get into 2024. Second project of interest for us is the Terrell Project in northern Spain. We got into a definitive option agreement with Europa Minerals last fall. They needed a funding partner. We liked the size of this deposit. We liked the high-grade nature of it, another historic mining district in the north of Spain. It gives us a unique opportunity to develop a base metal project where zinc is the key component. And what's really good about this project from our perspective, it's located here, is 2 hours away. Glencore has a zinc smelter just waiting for us to get the material out of the ground and get it to their facility. So we've had lots of discussion with Glencore about a potential offtake down the road given the proximity of the plant. It too has all that we look for in terms of access, people, and most recently, a continuation of their exploration program last year continued to have some successful results. They published another update to their resource, another 20 million tons in total, split between indicated and inferred. You can see the zinc equivalent grades running from 6% up to 8%. So a very robust project built around zinc, and an awful lot of silver in the ground to go on top of that. This is the mineralized zone that's been identified at Terrell, and as Rob just said, every project's got its opportunity for expansion outside. So we've got open areas at both ends of the project that we can continue to explore. We've got 7,000 meters this year budgeted to go in, continue to get confidence in the indicated resources and convert some of that 13 million tons of inferred up to indicated to form the basis for us of a PEA that we'll do in 2024. So Terrell's key milestones this year are going to focus on our first year's commitment. We got $1 million minimum spend this year. We'll have no problem doing that based on the drill campaign that we're going to do. We have to help them get a mining license application into the local mining authority by the end of July, and then continue to do the drilling that leads us to the planned PFS that we'll start work on in 2024. And then there's our third project, the Zancudo Project. I often think of this in the world of Denarius as the sleeper, one that nobody really was paying much attention to. We brought it into the company through the RTO with a zero valuation on it. It's a high-grade silver gold project in Colombia. It sits, where am I here? Right in here, in the Cauca Belt. It's got some good neighbors that we have a lot of experience with, the Romero Project to the south, and the Segovia Project over here in Antioquia. That's where we cut our teeth in Colombia over the last 12 years. The Zancudo Project's been mining since the late 1700s. It's a on-trend with a lot of senior players, you can see, from Continental's Buritica Project to Gold Mining's Titrabee Project and all the way down. And it's a project that Gran Colombia bought in 2010, did a couple of years of exploration before gold collapsed and we had to put it aside. IM Gold came in 2017 to do a 6-year earn-in of up to 70%, and then because of the Cote flu, had to walk away from the project last year when they couldn't get any more funding at the Colombian level, given what was going on at the corporate level to fund Cote. They walked away from the project, and we got back into it in the fall to start to plot the plan going forward. And that plan had really sort of kicked off earlier this week when we announced our Maiden Resource. We went back and put together a resource based on the 40,000 meters that Gran Colombia and IM Gold had done over the last 10 years. And with that resource, we quantified, don't want to do that, 718,000 gold equivalent, but as expected, 10 million ounces of silver in the deposit so far, and another almost 600,000 ounces of gold. And for us, this is just the beginning. One of the things that our group does do well in Colombia is incorporate local contract miners in our operations. It's how we got Segovia started. And that's what we're already doing now with Zancudo. We've reached out, we've got a local contract miner working with us. They're already into the old Independencia mine, which exists on the title. They're investing in opening up the adits and preparing the mine for contract mining. We're working on getting the permit updated so that we can introduce mining operations, and that'll take another up to about 3-4 months to get complete. And later this year, we hope to start mining with about 500 tons a day of material coming out of the mine that we're now working on. The next step of it is where are we going to send that material for processing. Whether it'll be on site or whether we'll do a toll milling arrangement with someone is still to be determined in the next couple of months. But it's a really unique way for us to start to get early stage production out of the project, to incorporate the community with employment, and to start to get some self-fulfilling cash flow coming out of this project that can continue to explore and expand this resource as we continue to explore it along strike. So our key milestones this year for Zancudo, largely we've completed the first one, the resource. We're now getting things prepared. We recently announced that the Guia Antigua project, a small project we had inside the Segovia operation that's owned by Aris Mining, was interesting to us but not big enough. We've turned that project back over to Aris. They've compensated us with $2.2 million US for the work we've done in the last 2 years, and that $2.2 million is going to become an important funding source for us to pay for the initial work that we've got to do to prepare Zancudo for mining. And we're going to get into a drilling program later this year to continue to test the anomalies and to work forward to convert some of that inferred to indicated, as well as start to expand this resource. So for my final slide is just a reminder that this is a company that's small at the moment, $18 million market cap. We've got 3 tremendous projects that by their own merit individually certainly merit more value than the $18 million market cap we have at the moment. We've got detailed plans for each of the projects for this coming year to take them to the next step. They're in great locations with high-grade material, which is not only your friend in volatile commodity cycles, but certainly going to be an enabler for us to create value out of these projects as we move forward. So thanks for joining us today.